6:59 GMT. Official palace feed breaking news. Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal has rejected the privately commissioned DNA memorandum lodged by His Royal Highness the Duke of Sussex. Princess Anne just slammed the door on Prince Harry's attempt to prove that little Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor is his biological son, and therefore still entitled to a line in the Royal House Register. Private laboratories in Santa Barbara do not determine the succession of the crown, she announced. That power is reserved to the sovereign, advised by counsel recognized under law since 1689. At 9:15, she reactivated the long-dormant Sovereign Succession Security Council, SSSC, a crisis cell last summoned during the abdication scares of the late 80s. Call signs went out to former MI6 forensic analysts, College of Arms archivists, and a High Court probate judge. By 10, those personnel were shepherded behind the crimson doors of Marlborough House. Not finished, Anne signed an emergency writ convening the Royal Lineage Ethics Commission, RLE. 5 centuries of peerage law suddenly had a live courtroom. The panel, Sir Percival Maddox, retired Lord Justice, once dubbed the Human Statute Book. Dr. Eleanor Staton, Oxford constitutional historian. Canon James Kettleston, legal legate of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Lady Kathleen Moore, former keeper of Royal Archives. An unnamed ex-intel officer codenamed Grey Harrier. Never in Westminster memory had such a lineup been televised entering the session. By luncheon, broadcasters were looping the same slide deck marked Bloodline Files, Preliminary Irregularities. 5th of March 2019. Photo sets of Meghan Markle show a late-term belly at 9, a markedly flatter silhouette by 15, and curious creases at 20. Palace media forensics insist no organic pregnancy morphs that fast. Missing royal signatures. Archibald's delivery bears no countersign by either surgeon-gynecologist to the sovereign, breaking a tradition untouched since Queen Victoria's time. Amended birth record. The infant certificate was quietly reissued 27 days after registration, mother's legal name swapped for a style line. $499,000 wire trail. Funds routed from an RQL LLC escrow into a discreet gestational clinic in Baja California, exactly 5 days before the public birth notice. The memo field? NDA, surrogacy program. Each bullet was a nail driven into antique oak. Social feeds exploded. Bookmakers suspended odds on future investments. 25 February, 5:03 GMT. A gray Dassault Falcon touched RAF Northolt tarmac. Harry, gaunt and unslept, disembarked first, shepherding Archie and baby Lilibet through a gauntlet of silent Defense Medical Service officers. He had capitulated. DNA would now be sampled under Modi chain of custody, not Californian couriers. Meghan counterstruck online. Her self-produced video, The Eraser, premiered on an unbranded channel, charging that the institution was demanding our blood to validate its fears. 10 million views rolled up before tea time. Hashtags number Let Them Be Royal and number Stop the Eraser dueled across the Atlantic. Results landed fast. Genetic markers confirmed Harry's paternity beyond scientific doubt. Yet the RLE's secretariat added a devastating footnote: birth protocol non-compliance nullifies hereditary transmission. Put simply, a royal child may carry Windsor DNA, but if not born of the body of a recognized consort under witness conditions, succession rights evaporate. At dusk, 27 February, courtiers carried an ink-wet instrument to the Privy Council chamber. King Charles III had issued letters patent of abeyance. Archie and Lilibet's princely styles suspended, their places in the line frozen, until Parliament or lawful authority shall decide otherwise. A velvet-gloved exile. Harry now faced an ungodly fork. Remain in Britain as an ordinary Mr. Mountbatten Windsor. Children shielded but untitled. Fly back to Montecito and watch the suspension ossify into eternity. Late that evening, Prince William addressed a hushed Guildhall. Citing the wartime resolve of King George VI, he declared, "Service is the oxygen of this crown. We modernize, yes, but never by suffocating truth." Across the Commonwealth, commentary crystallized. William the steadfast modernizer. Harry the opportunist, seeking to launder Megxit via toddlers' titles. As midnight bells tolled over the Thames, Britain confronted its most primal constitutional question. Does blood make a royal, or does the crown make the blood royal? 7:45 GMT, 28 February, 2026, Marlborough House, London. Journalists lining Pall Mall caught only a glimpse of the woman who now controls Britain's royal fate. Princess Anne, in a navy riding coat and no-nonsense bun, strode past the press pen without a word. Inside, oak doors closed, and the first public sitting of the Royal Lineage Ethics Commission, RLE, began broadcast live to the palace press pool, but with cameras banned from the chamber itself. The clerk read 3 witness names that sent murmurs through the gallery. Marina Yates, veteran royal photographer who shot Meghan's now infamous triple bump day. Dr. Michael Rowe, former registrar at Portland Hospital. Mr. Saul Torres, compliance officer at Banco de Occidente Tijuana branch. Yates projected her high-resolution stills, 9/6/1457, 2011 on 5 March 2019. Each image, blown to cinema size, revealed startling changes in abdominal contour. Counsel for Harry protested angle distortion, but Sir Percival Maddox silenced him. The camera may lie in tabloids, not under oath. Dr. Rowe confirmed he never signed or even cited a royal obstetric record. When asked why, he replied, "No consultant obstetrician was granted clearance." Gasps rippled. Someone outside the press box sobbed. Torres, iron-voiced behind bulletproof glass, detailed a $499,000 wire sent 1 May 2019 from RQL LLC to Forza Biomed Surrogacy Services. The memo: complete gestational settlement, NDA, Level 2. His testimony ended with an MI6 cipher officer authenticating the bank's encrypted third-party womb tag. By noon, the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, had issued a rare statement supporting the Princess Royal's rigorous defense of constitutional clarity, while cautioning empathy for the children. Duchess Sophie reposted it with a single line, "Truth sustains duty." In stark contrast, Meghan Markle uploaded a midnight Instagram reel titled "Motherhood on Trial." Set to a haunting piano, she cradled baby photos and whispered, "They called my womb counterfeit." The clip amassed 8 million likes before breakfast, but comment sections flooded with the question, if paperwork was pure, why hide it? While social media burned, Prince William slipped into St. George's Chapel for the service of renewal, an annual rite created by King George VI to remind heirs that crowns are rented, not owned. Reporters at the Lychgate captured townsfolk applauding him. One elderly veteran saluted and shouted, "Steady on, sir, your grandmother would be proud." After the liturgy, William met youth volunteers restoring chapel masonry. A hot mic caught him telling a 16-year-old apprentice, "Modern service means fixing old stones with new tools, never discarding the foundation." Within hours, the quote trended as number duty over drama, dwarfing Meghan's reel. Commentators framed him as the embodiment of disciplined renewal, a prince who upgrades ceremony without diluting principle. At 14, the RLE granted Harry's counsel 20 minutes to rebut. Instead of evidence, they offered rhetoric. Genetic certainty eclipses ceremonial red tape. Dr. Eleanor Staton calmly replied, "In monarchy, ceremony is law given flesh." Her slide traced the born-of-the-body doctrine back to the Act of Settlement 1701, noting that even King Edward VII's sons were witnessed by cabinet ministers. The exchange ended with a chilling procedural note. If surrogacy were proven, only an Act of Parliament plus assent from every Commonwealth realm that recognizes the crown could rehabilitate the children. Cameras outside captured Harry's advocate exiting visibly shaken, jacket buttons unfastened, lips pressed thin. Upstream at Clarence House, King Charles III reread draft language for letters patent of abeyance. Insiders say he lingered over a single phrase, "pending future constitutional review," recalling his mother's counsel, "You may compromise on style, never on statute." A footman discreetly removed a photograph of Archie from the writing desk before press photographers were admitted. Elsewhere, Queen Camilla, still publicly silent, told Confidential she would die on the hill of institutional continuity. The comment leaked. Tabloids splashed, "Camilla backs Anne's iron wall." As Big Ben told 18, gray vans rolled from the MOD lab to Marlborough, carrying sealed evidence binders embossed with the royal arms. Word filtered across Fleet Street. DNA parentage confirmed. Birth protocol failure corroborated. The final report now needed only signatures of the 7 commissioners and the countersign of Princess Anne. Crowds outside the palace gates chanted dueling slogans, "Protect the Crown" versus "Let Archie in." Yet polling by Ipsos overnight showed 69% of UK respondents agreed that succession law must prevail over family sentiment. Pundits credited the surge to William's quiet service. Narrative. From Windsor's temporary safe house, sources reported *** Prince Harry pacing sleepless corridors. He drafted, then tore up, 3 open letters, one pleading with his father, one condemning his sister, one begging public empathy. None left the room. Palace security barred Wi-Fi. Even his phone remained sealed in a Faraday pouch. Late that night, a friend relayed his whispered confession. "I thought DNA was my shield. I never understood the fortress of process." The line leaked to the Financial Chronicle, hardening city sentiment that Harry had gambled and lost. Minutes before midnight, a courier delivered 3 red-sealed envelopes to the Privy Council office. Drafts of the abeyance patent, briefing notes for Commonwealth High Commissioners, and a pre-recorded 2-minute address by Charles ready for release, should the Commission's findings match present expectations. Thus, part closes with candles burning in 2 camps. Marlborough's jurists preparing their pens, and Northolt Air Base rumored on standby for a California-bound jet. In a matter of hours, a centuries-old question will receive a 21st-century answer, and the House of Windsor must live with the echo. While London still digested the abeyance decree, the first diplomatic tremor came from Kingston. Prime Minister Marlon Bennett opened Jamaica's parliamentary session by citing yesterday's constitutional spectacle as proof the island must finish the journey from subject to citizen. Bridgetown endorsed the statement within hours. Canberra and Wellington issued cooler communiques. But each affirmed the sovereign right of Parliament to amend the succession should domestic interest require. Behind gilded doors, courtiers feared a domino. At the evening Foreign Office briefing, Baroness Ormsby tabled a mitigation plan. Dispatch senior working royals on listening tours, accelerate soft power scholarships, and most radically publish an online primer explaining royal succession law in plain language. City traders began the week wary. Yet Monday's opening bell saw the FTSE edge 7% higher, as analysts praised the clarity of outcome. No legal limbo equals lower gilt risk. Sterling nudged up against the dollar. Op-eds called it the William Premium, the Prince of Wales's short. Technocratic Guildhall speech was credited with signaling that executive-style governance would define his future reign. Household brands followed the market mood. Jaguar Land Rover, supplier of Royal State Review cars, released an advert featuring archive footage of King George VI touring bombed London with the slogan, "Steadfast since 1940. Social media labeled the spot opportunistic, but marketing trackers showed a 12-point bump in UK brand favorability. In Parliament, a rare crossbench consensus emerged. Labour's Shadow Attorney General praised *** Princess Anne for constitutional backbone. Tory backbencher Sir Gavin Longhurst, once critical of palace expenditures, congratulated her for protecting taxpayers from decades of litigation. The one dissent came from Republican MP Clive Horrocks, who argued that, if the Crown itself admits ancient rules are brittle, perhaps we need no Crown at all. His motion for a full succession review mustered just 11 votes. Inside the palace, mood lines were stark. Master of the household, Sir Clive Alderton launched Operation Anchor, a directive to double-lock routine so that no staff lapse could feed anti-monarchist narratives during the next 90 days. All press briefings required dual sign-off, one by Alderton, one by Anne. *** King Charles III withdrew to Sandringham for 48 hours of woodland reflection, accompanied only by his equerry and Eames deck chair. Even so, aides say he telephoned Archbishop Welby twice, seeking counsel on mercy toward minors in exile. Meanwhile, the Wales household felt tailwinds. Overnight YouGov polling recorded an 81% approval rating for *** Prince William, a personal best surpassing Catherine's pandemic-era high. Commentators spoke of a William Compact. The public will tolerate painful royal housekeeping if framed as duty, not drama. Across the Atlantic, *** Meghan Markle booked a primetime ABC slot with veteran host Dana Cruz. Teasers promised, the mother's voice Buckingham tried to mute. Advertising spots sold out in 30 minutes. Archewell's media arm inked a last-minute partnership with streaming startup Vivid Stage to simulcast the interview globally. Ad agencies, however, flagged brand safety risk. Two blue-chip advertisers, Nestoria Bank and Astra Foods, pulled spots, citing content sensitivities around minors. Digital nowcasters estimated Meghan's CPM value fell 15% overnight. Within Montecito walls, *** Prince Harry faced another blow. His ghost-written memoir sequel, Uncrowned, lost its February slot after publisher Brightquill insisted on comprehensive legal scrub in light of the abeyance. Leaked emails suggest the firm demanded proof that passages accusing the palace of racism were grounded in verifiable incident, not inference. Morning talk radio painted divergent pictures. Progressive host Lena Duarte called the abeyance genetic gatekeeping wrapped in ermine. Conservative commentator Blake Mason countered, "Even a king has paperwork, why shouldn't a prince?" A Reuters Ipsos flash poll of U.S. adults found 53% sided with the Sussexes, yet only 31% believed Archie should keep a title if born via surrogate. Former private secretary to Queen Elizabeth II, Sir Christopher Geidt, broke years of silence in The Spectator. He praised Anne's surgical precision, adding a pointed line. Her late Majesty trusted Princess Anne's moral compass when others favored optics. The remark was interpreted as thinly veiled criticism of Harry's media-first strategy. Retired Archbishop Rowan Williams penned a pastoral open letter. "Grace without truth is sentiment. Truth without grace is brutality. A crown must seek the narrow ridge." Both Palace and Sussex camp reposted the quote, each claiming validation. TikTok stitched the saga into viral micro-dramas. Creators reenacted throne room showdowns with crown filters and courtroom soundtracks. #number Born of the Body hit 180 million views, far outpacing Meghan's own campaign. Data analysts noted a pivot. Gen Z viewers leaned toward William when videos highlighted parliamentary statutes, leaned toward Meghan when clips emphasized emotion. To seize momentum, Kensington Palace released a 2-minute behind-the-scenes montage of William meeting apprenticeship carpenters at Windsor. Subtitles framed it as "Service Above Self, Day 1 After Abeyance." Media scholars praised the subtlety. No attack, just steady imagery of craftsmanship and continuity. The Cabinet Office scheduled a 27 March symposium titled Crown, Commonwealth, and Continuity. Invitees, constitutional scholars, Commonwealth, Governors General, and tellingly tech platforms tasked with policing royal misinformation. Within Palace strategy papers, aides reference Project Keystone, a 3-year roadmap to codify succession procedure into a justiciable Royal Succession Act, digitize the Royal Register with blockchain verification of births, establish a permanent ethics and lineage tribunal chaired by a law lord, not a royal. Yet Project Keystone faces a silent obstacle. Any statute touching succession triggers the Perth Agreement, requiring assent from 16 realms. Diplomatic cables suggest Ottawa is lukewarm, Canberra cautiously interested, and Nassau indifferent. The Crown has delivered its verdict. Now the country must decide whether that verdict shall live only in parchment or also in the people's conscience. Editorial in the Times, 2 March 2026. Westminster reacted first. A cross-party bloc led by Lydia Graham introduced the Succession Modern Standards Bill to freeze the born of the body rule in statutory marble and to make every future lineage tribunal a creature of Parliament. Libertarian MP Clive Horrocks countered with the Lineage Equality Bill, demanding that any Windsor child conceived by gestational surrogacy keep succession rights so long as at least one parent is a natural-born Windsor. The Prime Minister let both measures move to first reading, yet hinted that government time would favor clarity anchored in inherited precedent. Polling now shows 43% of voters support hard-line codification, 34% prefer a reform compromise, and the remainder flirt with Republican abolition. The chamber thus sorts into 3 camps: traditionalists who cheer the Princess Royal, reform monarchists who admire the crown but fear genetic absolutism, and Republicans who see the abeyance as proof the institution can never square itself with modern family realities. Across the Thames, the Archbishop of Canterbury preached evensong at Lambeth. "Grace corrects law. Law preserves grace," he said, proposing a royal pastoral circle private mediation among the palace, the Sussexes, and the church. Princess Anne thanked him, yet added, in private, that sacrament cannot overwrite sovereignty. Meanwhile, screens burned. In the United States, Meghan's primetime interview with Dana Cruz drew 17 million viewers. Faced with the Mexican wire receipt, she called it a postnatal wellness payment. The split-screen image showing the memo line, "Gestational Settlement NDA 2" beside her denial became the night's viral freeze frame. Fact-checkers labeled her answer misleading. Kensington Palace had prepared. The BBC aired a 30-minute documentary entitled Service: The Wales Decade, following Prince William through flood relief sites and apprenticeship workshops. The film never mentioned Harry, yet opened with a diary line from King George VI. "All of us carry the crown in shadow, even when bombs fall." Approval ratings passed 90%. Columnists called it a soft power masterclass. TikTok stitched the saga into dual-format microdramas. Hashtag Crown or Blood raced beyond 200 million views as creators staged mock debates in cardboard crowns and courtroom soundtracks. Analytics showed Gen Z swung toward William when videos highlighted parliamentary statutes but leaned toward Meghan when the focus was emotional testimony. Student unions from Kingston to Auckland mounted Born of the Body, Born of Us teach-ins. Speakers argued that the abeyance proved London clings to an ethnocentric idea of legitimacy, while Canadian petitioners praised the decision as transparent rule-keeping. The cultural split now runs not along geography, but along a boomer law versus zoomer equity fault line. Governors General quietly examined whether each realm could pick and choose future heirs. British diplomats fear a patchwork monarchy where one capital recognizes a Windsor child that another rejects. Think tanks joined the battle. Chatham House recommended a royal birth ledger, a blockchain vault recording every biometric and procedural proof of birth. Policy Exchange retorted that cold code cannot replace warm witness. The Economist put Princess Anne on its cover beneath the headline, "The New Iron Lady," praising decisiveness, but urging legislation over aristocratic emergency brakes. Inside palace walls, two corridors point in different directions. In the East Wing, King Charles III reviews draft coronation vows for his eventual handover to William, penciling a new promise, to guard continuity with compassion. Courtiers warn any hint of remorse could reopen litigation. Across the quadrangle, the Wales Private Office rolls out Project Evergreen, an idea to rebuild Commonwealth ties through green energy scholarships and youth exchanges under the Prince's Earth Prize banner. William signs off with one sentence: "Service first, explanation later." In California, Prince Harry's production deals wobble. Netflix shelves his Nature series until brand clarity returns. Publisher Bright Quill offers to refile his memoir sequel as faction, half-fact, half-reflective fiction to dodge legal minds. Friends quote him muttering, "If duty is the rent, I've paid mine with interest." They still call it arrears. Even sympathetic American hosts note that audience patience wears thin when private pain becomes a perpetual product. A simple matrix now describes the board. Anne lobbies the Lords to nail the precedent into law. William prepares a Caribbean tour before the Jamaican referendum. Charles weighs an Easter broadcast that balances mercy and law. Harry considers releasing redacted emails to shore up his narrative. Meghan pursues a streaming docuseries titled Royal Obsolescence. Risk indices climb highest for the Sussex camp, lowest for Anne, who stands insulated by public respect. Commentators circle a single, unresolved question. Is monarchy a living institution able to reinvent its blood logic, or a curated museum whose lifeblood is stasis? Economists note Britain's heritage dividend, soft power, tourism, broadcast rights. Yet sociologists warn a dynasty perceived as inflexible may bleed cultural relevance faster than any ledger can compensate. For the moment, Anne's iron ledger holds. William capitalizes on a halo of duty. Harry walks boardrooms in Hollywood. Two untitled children wake daily beneath Californian sunshine, far from corridors their birth once seemed to guarantee. Britain now watches to learn whether the law signed in emerald ink will become creed in the national heart, or whether tomorrow's voters will decline to pay the ancient rent of duty. Sunrise on Easter Day, 12 April 2026. Bells of St. George's Chapel toll, while television audiences await King Charles's annual broadcast. His message lasts exactly 5 minutes shorter than wartime addresses, longer than Christmas greetings. He thanks volunteers, praises duty tempered by mercy, and without naming them, offers a grandfather's blessing to all children, wherever they may be raised. Viewers read between the syllables. The abeyance stands, but compassion softens its edges. 2 days later, Kingston's referendum campaign officially opened. Pollsters record a razor-thin split, 48% for a republic, 46% for constitutional monarchy, the rest undecided. Into this tension flies the Prince of Wales on his Green Horizon tour. In blazing afternoon heat, he signs a solar apprenticeship accord with Caribbean universities, then quotes his great-grandfather, "Service is the rent we pay." Local commentators concede charisma, yet activists retort, "Rent doesn't buy the house." Voting day is set for 1st August, Emancipation Day symbolism sharpened like a cutlass. While William courts the islands, a 23-year-old coder at the Crown Digital Service accidentally publishes the pilot Royal Birth Ledger, a blockchain prototype meant to store biometric records of future heirs. Downloaded within minutes to a public GitHub mirror, the JSON test file shows hash placeholders for Windsor, Cal, 2019, just serve, reigniting debate. If the palace is preparing coded proof for tomorrow, why not disclose every fragment from yesterday? Opposition MPs seize the breach to demand a select committee hearing. Traditionalists call it a glitch, not gospel. Pressure accelerates the succession. Modern Standards Bill. After 72 lines of committee amendments, chiefly clarifying surrogacy disqualification and digital record custody, the bill clears the Commons by 312 votes to 118. The Lords nod it through on the voices. Britain now has, for the first time, a statute that writes the born of the body doctrine into black-letter law. Supporters hail certainty. Critics see biological gatekeeping canonized. Across the Atlantic, the Vivid Stage docuseries Royal Obsolescence premieres, but viewing figures fall below projections. Audience fatigue meets algorithmic downranking. Netflix quietly drops Harry's postponed Nature project from its upcoming slate. Sponsors, wary of the new statute, regard any challenge to it as a legal sinkhole. In Montecito, legal advisors whisper that further litigation could now trigger punitive costs under the act. Harry is said to reply, "I will not sue my country into loving my children." On 23 April, St. George's Day, Princess Anne opens a refurbished archive wing at Windsor. When a student asks if history ever ends, she answers, "History ends every morning and starts again at tea time. Our task is to leave the ledgers honest for the next steward." Her words travel little on social media but appear, in full, on the back page of the Times. Commentators realize the moment the Crown's Iron Sentinel steps back, content that Parchment and Parliament now march in step. By summer, Britain stands inside a new legal architecture. Blockchain hashes locked in vaults, statute chiseled through both houses, and public opinion settled, if not unanimous, behind a monarchy that traded sentiment for certainty. The Caribbean has yet to vote, the Sussex narrative still flickers, but the terms of engagement have changed. Royalty is no longer merely born, it is notarized. Whether that transformation secures or calcifies, the Crown will be judged not by today's statutes, but by tomorrow's heirs who will find their place already written in code and law, awaiting only the living breath of duty to animate the throne.